Meanwhile, Kevin M Goldberg, who is a general counsel of the American Society of News Editors, says the ultimate result of pure freedom of speech is that all different viewpoints are allowed to occur and for the public to decide the truth. Goldberg made this comment in an exclusive interview with News First.
I think freedom of expression is important because it helps promote and guarantee every other right in a democratic society. And I think the journalist's role in that is to first and foremost serve as a surrogate for the public, a stand-in for the public. Journalists always have to remember this. I think that the government has to play a very limited role in regulating speech. They should only regulate speech where there's a really compelling harm that might ensue from the speech, and only to the extent necessary to avoid that harm. What they really need to do, however, is guarantee that everybody's voice can be heard. The ultimate, in my mind, the ultimate result of pure freedom of speech is that all differing viewpoints are allowed to occur, and the public picks and chooses among what they hear to decide what is the truth.
Professor Ranjit Bandara, the chairman of the Sri Lanka Foundation, says that the current welfare economic system that is being implemented in Sri Lanka is not sustainable over the long term.
He also points out that in the face of increased recruitment and the provisions of most services free of charge, it is challenging for the government to secure sufficient revenue to cover its costs.
A book on the present economic challenges facing the country was launched in Colombo yesterday. Speaking at the event on the topic of going beyond the welfare economy, the chairman of the Sri Lanka Foundation, Professor Ranjit Bandara, expressed the following views. The population of the country is 21 million. Of this 21 million, 1.4 million are employed in the public sector. There is a public sector employee in 1 out of every 4 households. For how much longer will we be able to continue with this policy where the government gives everything for free? We can come to a position where the schooling and health is free. We cannot sustain this over the long term. How is the government to earn its revenue? The government needs to increase its income avenues. The government cannot continue to depend on taxation for revenue.
Several areas in and around Hatton town inundated due to the Dikoya breaking its banks. News First reveals the reason for the floods. We requested that the river be expanded, but it never happened. District Secretary of the Nuwara visits affected areas after the News First revelation.
සිරස මාධ්‍ය ආයතනයෙන් මේ ප්‍රදේශයේ ගම් වතුර ඇතිවෙච්ච තත්ත්වය සහ ඒකට හේතු කාරකයන් අනාවරණය කළයි. ඇලට අල්ලලම ඇලේ වතුර මාර්ගය හරස් කරලා ඉදිකිරීම කළා තියෙනවා.
Several areas inundated once again after the Dikoya overflows. Area residents demonstrate urging for a solution to the floods. For your attention.
Up next is the newspaper cartoon of the day, which we selected from amongst today's English newspapers.
News First U reporter Janaka Gomez filed this report from Mount Lavinia.
A cab collided with a three-wheeler this afternoon in Ratmalana on the Gold Road at around 1:45. No casualties have been reported from the accident.
News First U reporter B Janaka Gomez Galkisse Sita.
In other local news, objections were raised today against a request made by members of the Mahasangha to remove a statue at a Kovil located within the area coming under the purview of the Dambulla Sacred City Development Plan.
While several homes that were taken over by the Urban Development Authority under the Dambulla Sacred City Development Program have already been removed from the area, the Bhadrakali Kovil, which is also located in the area, is due to be removed. People residing in the area prior to this have also been relocated. A group, including bhikkhus, attempted to remove the statue to the Uyanwatta Viharaya in Dambulla today. However, Hindu devotees had expressed strong objection to the move.
මාසේ හරි නෑ. ලබන මාසේ වෙනකොට ඔයාලා ඉවත් කරන්න. අපි එයාලා ඉන්න ඕනේලු.
මේ දවස් 15 අපිට දෙන්න අපි ඒක ඉවත් කරගන්න. මේකට එක
අපි ඉතින් අර ආවේ ඔයාලට මේ කොහොම කාර්මිකව සත්භාවයෙන් මේකට උදව්වක් වශයෙන් තමයි අපි ආවේ.
අපේ ආල්මේ අර මේක තිබු පිළිවෙත තියෙනවානේ. ඒක තියපු විදිහට ඒක ඉවත් කරගන්න ඕනේ. නැත්තම් මේක එහෙම නොකරොත් අර මේක තැම්පත් කරව පිරිසක් ඉන්නවනේ. ඒ කට්ටියට කරදරයක් වෙනවා.
We will remove this in accordance with Hindu tradition. We will call the Kaburala here and have it removed by the 5th. The UDA didn't give us what we promised. If they had given it, then the matter would have concluded by now. They said that 100,000 rupees would be given. They even gave us a document with numbers. They asked us to take everything away and they would provide. But they did not provide.
අද අපි ආවේ ඒක බොහොම සාමකාමීව අපි ගෞරවාන්විතව
We came here peacefully and respectably to carry the statue in a perahara and place it at the Viharya because there is a shrine there. Afterwards, when they received a plot of land or constructed a new kovil, we ourselves would have brought the statue back and kept it at the new shrine. We came here to carry out this task with responsibility.
ඒ දේවාලේ තැන්පත් කරන්න තමයි අපි අද මේ වගකීමකින් මේ කටයුත්ත කරන්න ආවේ.
Meanwhile, a hunger strike commenced by villagers and vendors in Dambulla at the Kandalama junction continued for a 5th day today. They point out that under the Dambulla Sacred City Development Program, their homes and business establishments on the A9 highway between the Kandalama junction and the Nisanka junction will be lost. The protesters commenced this strike on the 10th of this month, demanding that they be paid compensation amounting to current land price estimates for their lands.
It is undoubtable, Shane, that when plans are made for development projects, it should be ensured that the people reap the optimum benefit from these projects.
That's right, Nicola. News First Disna Kanayanjana, who visited the Dambana area recently, witnessed the fate that has befallen a development project initiated in the area.
In the background, you can see paddy fields spanning about 66 acres. The cultivation of these fields has been abandoned owing to the failure of a water scheme initiated here.
This failed project was initiated around the Kirimana Galkandura reservoir in Damana. The Kirimana Galkandura Vabba, which first released water to surrounding fields on the 20th of November 2009 under the Gamanagama development scheme. This water was meant to enable the indigenous people in the area to cultivate 66 acres of their paddy fields.
The farmers do not receive sufficient water. The sluice is too heavy to lift or drop. This waterway does not provide enough water for the low-lying fields or the fields that are on higher ground. This waterway must be repaired so the water flows from the higher ground to the low-lying fields. That is the only way that we can receive water. Bulldozers were brought here at a cost of 1 million rupees, but they did nothing. All they did was bulldoze the paddy fields.
The indigenous farmers say that during the rainy season, they are able to cultivate about 8 acres of their fields amid such difficulty.
During the rainy season, the water that comes through the spillway increases. Doesn't some of the officials know that when there is such a large waterway carrying a large volume to this tiny waterway, that this waterway will break? Is the technical officer who inspects this unaware of this?
These farmers hope that at some point in the future, the authorities will turn their attention towards ensuring that they receive enough water from the Kirimana Galkandura reservoir to cultivate their fields to the optimum level.
Daham Vimalasena, former General Secretary of the United National Party, says that in 1977, then party leader J.R. Jayawardena entrusted the task of steering the UNP election campaign to the committee led by R. Premadasa without fear or doubt.
Vimalasena notes that whenever J.R. Jayawardena had to travel abroad, he would entrust all responsibilities to R. Premadasa, who was the second in line, and instruct other leaders in the party to pledge their support to Premadasa.
When we presented him with the results of the vote, J.R. Jayawardena told us that he would chair the committee. However, he also noted that he would have to travel to Australia in the near future and said that he would be entrusting all responsibilities to R. Premadasa and instructed us to pledge our fullest support to Premadasa. He told us what should be done until he returns from Australia, and he instructed us to assist Premadasa in implementing these things. In keeping with his instructions, everyone agreed to this. I must especially note that numerous instructions were issued by our Premadasa to the party and J.R. Jayawardena on how we should act for the upcoming elections. Premadasa carried out an immense task in that time frame. I think the results of that task led to our victory. The public as a whole had faith in J.R. Jayawardena in 77. The people trusted people like R. Premadasa, Gamini Disanayaka, Hamid, Devanayagam and everyone else. That faith is no longer there because the current leader has been defeated on numerous occasions.
A special function was held in Colombo today to mark the 67th Independence Day of Pakistan.
The event was held at the Pakistani High Commission premises in Colombo. The Pakistan Independence Day celebration in Colombo was held under the auspices of Pakistani High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Major General Qasim Qureshi. The Independence Day message of Pakistani President Asif Ali Zardari and Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif was read out at the occasion. Members of the Pakistani community in Sri Lanka were present at the Independence Day celebrations along with a number of dignitaries and officials attached to the High Commission.
I invite Mr. Ghulam Abbas for his